All right, you feather merchants. This video is about the first winter that I spent down in Mexico when I finished our apprentice program as an iron worker. Well, anyway, my buddy and I, we got in my pickup truck, and it took 2 days to drive down to the border from Gary, Indiana. And we left in it was the winter of 67, 68. We left in sometime in December. It was before Christmas, and all the winters I spent down in Mexico, I always would leave before Christmas. That way I didn't have to buy any Christmas presents. So anyway, it takes us 2 days to get down to the border, and I believe we crossed the first year. I believe we crossed in Nuevo Laredo, and we crossed the border, and then we were going to drive across the northern part of Mexico, and we stopped in a town called Durango. And when we got there, they were having some kind of religious. It looked like a religious holiday. I can't remember what it was, but they had a parade and a lot of people partying, and but we didn't see any gringos. As far as I could see, we were the only two gringos in the town. And since we didn't know anyone, my buddy and I, we thought, well, maybe we should get a cab and ask them to take us to the Casa de Putas. And anyway, my buddy said, why don't you ask the taxi drivers to take us there? And I thought, you know what? Well, I'm not familiar with the culture down here, and they're having a religious holiday, and maybe they would think this is an insult. So I was reluctant to do it, and my partner, he was reluctant to do it also, so we didn't do it. And anyway, so we spent the night there, and then we took off early in the morning, and on the way we were going to drive to the coast. Our next destination was Mazatlan, and as we're driving, we ran across an old movie set out in the middle of nowhere, and there was one person that was taking care of it, and it was really cool. I mean, I'd seen this movie set in cowboy movies before, so we stopped there. There was no admission fee or nothing like that. It wasn't a tourist attraction. There was no one there, just one guy taking care of the place. So we took some photos and went on to Mazatlan. And we got into Mazatlan in the evening, and I remember it was too big for me. You know, I didn't, it wasn't any place that I'd want to explore. So we spent the night in Mazatlan, and then we started heading south on the coastal highway. And of course, our destination is Puerto Vallarta. So we're driving down the coast, and excuse me, and I saw the sign. It said San Blas, and my partner, he saw the sign at the same time, and I thought maybe we should. It's early in the day. We'll explore San Blas, and he asked me to drive down there. So we turned off the highway, and it took about I'd say about 40 minutes, maybe 45 minutes to get to San Blas, and we're driving on this it's a windy road through like thick jungle, and we were the only ones there. I didn't see any cars go by us or anything, and I remember when we got down close to the ocean, we were approaching the town of San Blas, and we went across a bridge, a small bridge, and we're in the middle of the town, and it was like, it was cool. It was like going back into time. There was a plaza in the middle of the town, old church, a couple of restaurants around the plaza. The streets were either cobblestone or sand. And we looked around, and there was a hotel there. It was, I think the name of it was the Hotel San Blas. Anyway, we got a room there and got cleaned up, and then we went out that evening to see what was there. Our plan was just spend the night there. Anyway, we ended up in this bar. Torino's was the name of the bar, and a guy by the name of Tony Vercellini, he owned it. Evidently, his father was Italian and moved to Mexico, San Blas, and he was from Torino, Italy. And anyway, he had passed on by the time we got there. But Tony owned that bar and restaurant, and he owned a hotel across the street called the Bucanero. And we went inside the bar, and it was it was really cool. And it was mostly gringos, and it was just and they had a crocodile pit in the middle of the bar, and with a small bamboo fence around between the patrons and the crocodiles. And so anyway, we met some really interesting people there, and my buddy and I, we thought, wow, this is really cool. We ran into these Australians and a couple of New Zealanders there, and good guys, you know, and we were drinking beer with them, and so we went back to the hotel, and we thought, well, let's spend another night here. And so we found ourselves back in Torino's the next night, and then the next morning we decided, let's spend one more night. And we spent one more night there. Of course, we went back to Torino's, and then we thought, you know what, let's just stay here for a month. And so we looked for a house to rent. We found a house. It was like, I think it was only a block away from Torino's. And, it was $24 a month, hot water. So we rented it. And it just so happened that this group of Australians that we ran into, they referred to their house as the Kiwi house. And because all the Australians that was living there. And so we started hanging out with these guys. Of course, they had a real nice beach. You go down to the ocean, and the beach there, it had to be about a mile long. And I used to go down there, and I'd run the beach and do push-ups, and then body surf, and go back, have a lunch, siesta, and go back to Torino's. Anyway, it was really a lot of fun, really interesting. And then the Australians said, since they lived right next door to us, they said, why are you guys spending all that money for rent? Just move in with us. So I thought, well, yeah. So we did. So we extended our vacation from 1 month. We decided we're going to spend a couple months here. So we ended up spending 3 months, and we moved in with these guys. And I think my portion of the rent was maybe $4 or $5 for the month. So we're living down here for practically nothing, eating good, any fish. I mean, it's all fresh. The shrimp would come off of the shrimp boats. I mean, these things, the shrimp were gigantic. And what a wonderful place to spend the winter. And we ended up spending 3 months down there. And the whole time I'm thinking, I had went through the whole testing process to be a Chicago cop. And on the way back home, I thought, gee, I don't think I can do this. It's like I could see myself spending all my winters down here in Mexico. And so anyway, like I said in the prior video, I went back and I changed my mind about being a Chicago cop, which in later years I regretted. I said that was my number two mistake as a young man. My number one was getting out of the Marine Corps. I should have never got out of the Marine Corps. It's I was made for that kind of life, you know, and I was too young to realize it. I was like a kid in a candy store. There's so many opportunities. I could see them, and I wanted to do everything. And you can't do everything. You gotta kind of pick and choose, you know. And of course, not going on the Chicago PD, I always felt that was a mistake. I always thought I would have done well on that job. Anyway, I'm gonna cut this video short because I know I think a lot of you feather merchants out there have a short attention span, and I don't mean that as an insult, but I can see in my videos how many minutes are watched, and a lot of times I see people they won't watch them to the end. Anyway, I just want to thank you for stopping by, and you feather merchants have a good day. All right, thank you. All right. Bye.